Hello everyone, welcome to Trades Talk Tuesday. I'm your host, Pop Culture Mechanic. Please call me Pop. And on this stream, I focus the majority of my time talking about the skilled trades, what you can do to get into them, what you can do to pursue a career in one of those trades, whatever they may be. And I also share some of the stories and projects I've been on. And hello there, Godzillionaire. Nice to see you. I'm glad you liked that thumbnail. I thought it would do a good job attracting a little bit more attention. So let's start off with a little bit of some news. We'll do that with going to Plant Magazine. So let's see what they got here for some interesting articles. Teslas of the Sea. CES showcases electric hydrofoil boats. An electric hydrofoil boat. Okay, but if you run out of power out on the ocean, I don't know how good that is, because you can't even get anybody to get to you in time. Electric and water, a match made in heaven. And hey, welcome, the underground. I assume this might be David then, from the underground? Good to have you along. Yeah, let's see what this says here. They're gonna make electric boats. Flying cars and self-driving vehicles always get attention at the CES Gadget Show in Las Vegas, but this year electric recreational boats are making bigger waves. Swedish company Candela on Thursday unveiled a 28-foot, 8.5-meter electric-powered hydrofoil speedboat that can cruise for over 2 hours at 20 knots, or about 23 miles per hour. California startup Navier tried to outdo its Scandinavian rival by bringing an electric hydrofoil that's a little bit longer, though Candela's is further along in getting its products to customers. Even the recreational motorboat conglomerate Brunswick Corporation tried to make a splash in Nevada this week by showing off its latest electric outboard motor, an emerging segment of its mostly gas-powered fleet. Let me go park my boat at the marina for a few hours to charge up. Yeah, that probably will be what it's like. Why electric, it says. A chief reason is environmental, as well as to save on rising fuel costs, but electric-powered boats, particularly for the sleek foiling designs that lift the hull above the water surface at higher speeds, can also offer a smoother and quieter ride. But you can... You can have a glass of wine and it doesn't spill, Navier CEO Sempriti Bhattacharya told Associated Press last month, and it's quiet, extremely quiet. You can have a conversation, unlike on a gas boat. When can you get one? Candela CEO Gustav Hasselkog said his company has already sold and manufactured 150 of its brand new C8 model. The Stockholm-based startup has been scaling up its workforce from 60 employees a year ago to about 400 later this year, and as it prepares to ramp up production. But with a roughly $400,000 price tag, neither the C8 nor Navier's N30 is aiming to replace the aluminum boat used to fish on the lake. They've been described as Teslas of the Sea, with hopes that what starts off as a luxury vehicle could eventually help transform the marine industry. Just imagine the coast, salt water, and batteries. Genius! Exactly. You've got your own electrolyte. You're swimming in it. Why don't you just put 2 electrodes down into the water, or an anode and a cathode, put it in there, and just let the sea do the rest for you. They tend to be entrepreneurs, Hasselkog said, of Candela's first customers. They tend to be tech enthusiasts, if you like, with an optimistic view about the future and the ability of technology to solve all kinds of societal challenges. Navier's investment backers include Google co-founder Sergey Brin, which means he's probably getting one too. Are boaters ready for this? Probably not. Early electric boat models are expensive, heavy, and could instill more serious range anxiety than what drivers have felt about electric cars, said Trust Securities analyst Michael Schwartz, who follows the leisure boat industry. How safe is it for me to go out in the middle of the week, with no one around, miles from shore, in an electric outboard engine? Schwartz said. Schwartz said they might make more sense to use electric motors, such as a new CES offering from Brunswick-owned Mercury Marine to power a fleet of small rental boats, perhaps at the widely used boating clubs also run by Brunswick. You're not anywhere near the type of electric boat where you can go 50 miles offshore and go fishing for a couple hours and come back, Schwartz said. There's no technology that can enable you to replicate that experience outside of an internal combustion engine. Why is nobody talking about sail power? Had they forgotten that? That could be your backup. You run out of electricity, hoist a sail. You know, maybe there isn't going to be wind, but at least it'll get you somewhere, get you moving. They're trying so hard, desperately, to sell this EV crap to the rednecks and country folk. It's not working. No, it isn't working. Where I live right now, it is cold as hell. Batteries hate the cold. They operate best at like 27 degrees Celsius. They love that warm temperature to give you maximum output that you need. Right now, no, batteries hate the cold. So good luck getting their electric cars into northern Canada. Or even middle Canada. Not even northern, just middle. Central, I guess. Bring on the water taxis, it says. Both Candela and Evier are planning for a secondary market of electric ferries that could compete with the gas-powered vehicles that now carry commuters around populated regions such as Stockholm, Archipelago, or along San Francisco Bay. Hasselkog has said the same technology powering Candela's new leisure boat will also be used to power a 30-passenger catamaran prototype that could operate in Sweden by summer. For a city like Stockholm, which has already electrified most of its public ground transportation, its dozens of large ferry boats are an outlier in producing carbon emissions. First of all, carbon is not a bad thing. They talk about carbon emissions. What do you have to be more specific. Do you mean carbon monoxide? Do you mean carbon dioxide? Carbon dioxide is good. Trees need it. They take it in and they create oxygen. Carbon monoxide, not so good. But still, they gotta stop using these broad terms about carbon emissions or greenhouse gases. Because last time I checked, plants grew really well in a greenhouse with all those greenhouse gases. They need something like 220 of these electric vehicles to replace the current fleet, Hasselkog said, and instead of running on fixed schedules with empty seats, the small electric vehicles might be able to be summoned on demand, such as how Uber or Lyft work on land. Automatic docking. Many of the companies developing electric boat propulsion also have teams working on making these vehicles more autonomous, but since most recreational boaters like piloting their own boats, and most ferry passengers like to prefer a human captain at the helm, the self-driving innovation is focused on what happens at the marina. There's an intimidation factor with boating, and a lot of the intimidation factor you hear from consumers is with docking, said Schwartz, the truest analyst. So if that can be made seamless and automated, it's a huge deal. Okay, yeah. The self-driving boat, don't do that. People have a hard enough time with self-driving cars on land. Boats, you don't want that. I could just see it now, people running, just falling asleep, letting the thing run and figuring there's nothing on the ocean, and then, you're running into other ships, and it's not a good idea. Just stop it. Here's one. Ram electric pickup joins crowded field next year. They're coming out with more trucks that are electric. It says, when a futuristic-looking electric Ram pickup truck goes on sale next year, it will hardly be the first in line. By then, at least 7 EV competitors are scheduled to be on sale, all of them vying for a share of the huge full-size truck market that now includes the 3 top-selling gasoline and diesel-powered vehicles in the United States. 4 models. Ford's F-150 Lightning, Rivian's R1T, Lordstown Motors Endurance, and the GMC Hummer EV pickup already are on the road, and this year or next 3 others, the Chevrolet Silverado EV, GMC Sierra EV, and Tesla Cybertruck, are scheduled to roll out. Yes, but are they scheduled to transform and roll out? That's what I want to know. Yet, executives at Ram, which is Stellantis truck and commercial vehicle brand, say it doesn't bother them to be following rather than leading their competitors. It's actually an advantage for us, Mike Koval Jr., CEO of the Ram brand, said in an interview, because we have full knowledge of what the other guys have announced. On Thursday afternoon, company executives unveiled a concept version of the Ram 1500 Revolution battery-powered truck at the CES Gadget Show in Las Vegas. The production truck isn't likely to be as edgy as the one shown on stage, which looks like a halfway point between Tesla's angular Cybertruck and a conventional gas pickup. But the Ram EV, Koval said, it will surpass competitors in the areas that customers value the most: payload, towing, range, and technology. Well, you want your truck to be comfortable as well. Yeah, you want to be able to take a good payload. Most people overload their trucks anyway, so it's I don't know, maybe it's a moot point worrying about payload. Towing, people just gotta make sure they match the truck to what they're towing. Yeah, a range, you want a good range. One of Joe Rogan's guests brought up a good point about all this EV stuff. Do you hear about new copper mines? We don't produce enough copper, nickel, or chromium to make this work. Ah, that's a good point, Godzillionaire. Really, yeah, you want to get the mining up then if you're going to try to keep up with all this. Also, what about battery disposal when they're done? When you've used up a battery in a vehicle, there's no just, oh, well, I'll just refurbish it. No, you have to take it out of the vehicle and probably get a new one, because they probably can't refurbish all the material inside the battery. And then you got to dispose of it. And how are you going to dispose of it? Are they going to send it to a place where it gets broken down, or are they just going to bury it? Oh, there's a good for the environment thing. Let's go bury a bunch of vehicle batteries or EV batteries, and we'll just be very quiet about it and not let the environmentalists know about it. We'll see what happens with that. I just want to see how this thing. It's going to blow up in their face, because they're just so gung-ho about doing it, but haven't thought of the repercussions yet. Let's see. GM has announced that the Silverado EV will be able to travel over 400 miles or 640 kilometers on a single charge. Its rivals have ranges between 230 to 400 miles, depending on battery size. Koval insists the production Ram will push past everything that our competitors have announced. By next year, he noted, more charging stations and other infrastructure will be in place, making the market for EVs more attractive. I couldn't tell you. In the town I live in, I couldn't tell you where any of the charging stations are. I've not seen any. I haven't been looking for them, but you'd think if you went to like places where you fill up for gas and that, you'd see them, but I have not seen them. The article continues. Jessica Caldwell, executive director of insights for Edmunds.com, said the Ram won't be overly late to the market because the electric trucks on sale now can't fully satisfy the sustained growth in consumer demand. GM says more than 170,000 people have put down $100 refundable deposits on the Sierra last year. Ford sold over 15,000 Lightning trucks. Even though the vehicles weren't available until May, the company closed reservations after receiving $100 deposits from nearly 200,000 potential buyers. Okay, Ford's missing out on something here. They've got a truck called the Lightning. It needs to come with a rod that you put in the back of the bed, and it has to be at least 20 feet long up in the air, and it should be able to capture real lightning to charge your truck up. I want to see that. That's innovation right here, folks. You heard it. I want a lightning rod for my Ford Lightning. Apparently they got 1.21 gigawatts. Helps you travel in time. Sounds like a deal to me. Last year, Americans bought more than 2.1 million full-size pickups, most of which still run on gasoline. Of course they do. Big pickups accounted for more than 15% of all U.S. new vehicle sales, a huge and lucrative market. Electric vehicle sales are growing fast. Last year, 807,000 of them were sold in the United States, up 65% from 2021. the price of the EV trucks, which are comparatively costly, will have to move closer to those of gasoline versions to pull buyers away, said Michelle Krebs, executive analyst for Cox Automotive. Now we're getting into it here. Ford's electric pickup initially was to have a version starting around $40,000, but the starting price is now under $56,000, driven up by demand and price increases for raw materials. That's far more than the base gasoline-powered F-150, which starts at below $34,000. There you go. You better make it more cost-effective and at a better price for people to buy. Otherwise, they'll just keep going to gasoline and be like, yep, I'm not buying that. Why am I paying extra money? The problem with the pricing, Krebs said, is the costs are rising to build EVs. Lithium and other battery and mineral prices are high. Okay, automakers say that prices should decline as the companies spread costs across more vehicles and as breakthroughs in battery chemistry reduce the quantity or even eliminate minerals now needed to store energy. Koval says he's well aware the electric Ram will have to appeal to customers who want base model work versions as well as those who want higher priced luxury and technology, even with insane costs of raw materials. We're going to try something for we're going to try to have something for everybody, he said, but with an eye on the critical price point. The truck will also offer fast 350 kilowatt charging that can add up to 100 miles of range in about 10 minutes. A large interior accessed through saloon-style doors with an interior with multiple configurations. They have those already, though. Saloon-style doors, like where the front door opens and the back door opens, but it opens like the opposite way. I don't see why he's making a big deal about that. Getting people to give up their gas-powered trucks may take a while, Krebs acknowledges. In Midwestern states and Texas, where most pickups are sold, there aren't many EV charging stations that enable longer trips. Electric trucks may also appeal to companies that buy fleets of work trucks and want to receive tax credits and avoid paying for gasoline. Caldwell thinks the market for electric trucks will include buyers who use them for work and those who otherwise would buy an electric SUV for personal use. Electric trucks, she said, kind of give people who maybe were on the fence about an EV more reason to buy. Yeah, good luck with that. I am not in a rush to go and buy an electric vehicle. Yeah, save on gas. They act like charging your car is free. Yeah, exactly. You still got to pay for those kilowatt hours that you're running through your meter. What else did I see here? 2022 auto sales lowest since 2009, rise in December. De Rosier. Delta says free Wi-Fi coming to many U.S. flights next month. Does anybody really care about having Wi-Fi on their Delta flight? Best of CES 2023, a color-changing BMW and a boba tea robot. Okay, well, I don't know if anybody wants to see any of those ones, but nothing really stands out to me. Color-changing BMW, I mean, didn't we have cars that could do that already? Color-changing paint? BMW is betting on a car that can change colors. The German car manufacturer's latest concept car can display up to 32 colors and allows drivers to customize their cars digitally. That's not the only thing. The mid-size sedan has a voice assistant as well as physical and digital elements that allow the headlights to create facial expression and express moods such as joy, astonishment, and approval. The car is called BMW iVision D, D for digital emotional experience. The splashy ride is the next iteration of BMW's color-changing technology unveiled at last year's CES when the company showcased a car that had the ability to change from black to white. The body of the latest version is divided into 240 segments, all of which the company said can be controlled individually and allow for an endless number of patterns to be generated. The car will be available in 2025. Okay, that's fine. What about when you get into an accident? It's going to probably cost you, what, 3 times, 4 times as much to replace the parts that are on there, on the body? Also, isn't that going to distract people when you got a stupid car that makes facial expressions? I think it's dumb. Big deal. Your car changes colors. So what? When the police are after you, you can just pull off to the side of the road, change your color, and just drive right by them again. Like, it's just, expect this to be in a movie. I bet you. Somebody will have a movie where the BMW is getting chased and it just changes color. And they're like, we didn't do that with CGI. The car actually does that. And then people will be like, oh my god, I love this car. So, sounds dumb to me. It'll be in Fast and Furious 18. It'll probably be his family car. Because, family. We gotta have family in this movie. Alright. So that was that color shading BMW. Big deal. These auto sales that are lowest. I mean, the auto sales, I thought they were low because there was a shortage of chips and they couldn't make enough cars. But now, is it just because people aren't buying cars? They were up 5.5% in December compared to last year, but were down for the whole year. The firm estimates 109,000 new light vehicles were sold in the month of December compared to 103,000 a year earlier. For 2022 as a whole, Odysee says 1.49 million vehicles sold marks a 9.1% decline compared with 2021, the lowest annual sales total since 2009. The firm says sales trends have been uneven among auto manufacturers, with some seeing annual sales rise and others seeing them fall, as each has fared differently amid supply chain related inventory issues. It says Ford Motor Company has the highest sales for the year, followed by General Motors and Toyota Canada. Odysee says the outlook is unclear as rising inventory could be offset by a deteriorating economy. Well, they got partially right. Pretty sure it's going to be a deteriorating economy. Okay, that's enough for the news there. I was looking up, I found this article, 2021 Skilled Trades in America, From Great Resignation to Great Opportunity. But we all know that there's going to be a gap in the amount of people in the skilled trades, and we know there's going to be a demand for them. As I always say, you got to get into it. Tell the young kids of the nation that they need to be enrolled in the skilled trades. They'll make good money, and they'll have a skill they can keep with them for the rest of their lives. Yeah, well, we all know that already. Let's see. Oh, I was going to ask. I occasionally I will look up where trade schools are in each state. But seeing as how you're here, Godzillionaire, what state are you in? We could look up some trade schools that are in that area. Right now I've got Oregon up here. That's one of the guys that I see on Blaine's channel named Serranos. He lives in Oregon. There's the Oregon Institute of Technology. I don't know what they offer for programs. What else? Lynn Benton Community College. What do they have? Liberal arts, registered nurse, diesel mechanics, technology technician. There you go. Oh, engineering, industrial mechanics and maintenance technology. That's nice. Automotive mechanics, machine tool technology, machinist, yeah. Pipe fitter and sprinkler fitter. Yeah, let's try their website here. Where is it? Lynn Benton. There's the website. What else we got here? Winter term begins Monday, January 9th. That was yesterday. Calendars? Academic calendar? Okay. Okay, where's your programs? Come on, you guys. You got to have a better website layout than this. Educational options. Explore areas of study. Programs and degrees. Applied industrial technology and transportation. Okay, they're all alphabetical here. Machine tool. Mechatronics. That's one I've never heard of. The word mechatronics is linguistic mashup of mechanical and electronics. The field of a science combines the control of mechanical systems using electronics and computers. In today's world, many systems, from the automatic door locks in your car to the largest industrial robots, function on the principle of combining mechanical systems with electronic controls. Well, this almost sounds like instrumentation technician to me. Maybe they just wanted to use mechatronics to sound cool. Anyway, let's see here. Non-destructive testing. Heavy equipment diesel. Welding. I think they should probably divide up between academics and trades. Make it a little easier for people to navigate through here. This is not a very easy website to find something. You got to make it easy to get around. Don't make it too convoluted. Otherwise people will just be like, I can't find what I'm looking for, and give up. Anyway, that's the Lynn Benton Community College. Next up, I think we're going to move on to something really neat, something I was involved with a while ago. I will just go like this and take that away and put this up. You know what time it is now? Story time. Oh, that doesn't work so well. Just a minute. There we go. Let's try this now. No problem. So, what do you do when you have a dredge on a pond? It's a settling pond for biosolids, which is human waste. What do you do when you want to take that thing out of there? And it weighs about 40,000 pounds. Well, I think what you have to do, and there's other things to come out of there as well. These things here are aerators. They just stir up the water to keep it from freezing in the wintertime. So in the summertime, they get worked on so that they can prepare them for the wintertime. But you also have your dredge here to pull out of there. And you always pull it out in the summertime when it's nice and warm. You sold pumps like that before? There you go. You get yourself a big crane. And this is a big crane. I believe it's a 400-ton crane with a lot of counterweights. As you can see there, they set up on the road. And then they reach over the berm. That's what this thing is referred to as, a berm, which encases the lagoon there, the settling pond. And they reach over to the dredge. So you need a crane like that. And at first off, they take the aerators out of the pond because those are nice and easy. They only weigh about 3,600 pounds each. So they pull those up and out. And they already have a lot places to grab on with the shackles. Anchor points. Grab onto those. Lift them up out of the water. And then they reach over and they get hooked up to the dredge. And they are rigging it up there. You got to run, Godzilla? Okay, hey, thanks for coming out. It was good to see you. Have a fun time. So, as you can see there, they've got it lifted. And they're bringing it over. So what has to happen now is it has to be decontaminated because it's covered in human waste. So it needs to be pressure washed while it's still there. And as you can see, there is the debris, the human waste hanging from it. Hey, Ronan66. How you doing? Looks like something from Half-Life. That's a good one, yeah. Yeah, this thing was old. Like, you know, I would almost say this was made in somebody's garage. I believe that was the rumor that went around. That somebody, it was like a homemade job. But they finally, after years and years of using it, actually bought a proper one from a company that makes dredges. And yeah, then they have to pressure wash it there, clean off all the waste. And then from here, I got a picture of them. They grabbed it, swung it over, and now they're going to load it onto the back of a lowboy. And haul it away. Because it was pretty much scrap. We pulled off everything useful off of it, and we're ready to dispose of it. So I got a little closer. I was able to get a better picture there. They're getting it ready to load on the flat deck. And it's just, yeah, it barely fits on there. So yeah, this thing had all the counterweights on the back to make that reach. It wasn't because it was so heavy, it was the fact that it was so far away. They had to stay, and they couldn't go anywhere else. They had to stay on the T intersection of the road. There we go. That's the picture of the new one that is out in the pond. That is what we replaced the old one with. Surprised we found someone to haul it? Yeah, as long as it was cleaned off. That was their important thing. They wanted it to be very clean for environmental reasons. Yeah, here, wintertime. This is what I was telling everybody about before, is there's these aerators. They sit in the water. That one's running there. And it just keeps everything from freezing. As you can see, the rest of this is frozen. And yeah, it was, these guys had to be moved closer so that they could free that guy from being stuck in the ice. So that's what you do when you want to dredge in the wintertime. You have to keep everything moving and make sure there's no ice buildup. I believe, yeah, I've got some... can I run this faster? Nothing like hauling something and having stuff fall off. Yeah, everybody behind there. I believe I was just watching these guys get set up. I mean, it's not going to be that exciting. It's just the crane. They're just taking the hook off of the front there. And then they're going to get set up by putting all the... just fast forward through here. Yeah. Okay. Next one. Now they're going to grab the counterweights and put them on. So the crane is great because it just grabs the things that it needs. It pretty much builds itself. It's just more counterweights. Take them and put them over there. There they are, lifting out one of these aerators. So I got to watch where I'm going because I don't want to be anywhere under the lift area. Right? Don't put yourself in the danger zone. And then those guys easily lifted these out and put them on the ground. And what happens when they put them on the ground? We pick them up with a front end loader that has a pair of forks on it, take it back to an area by our shop and disassemble them and rebuild them. And then get them all built back up again, new parts, and put them back in before wintertime. You don't want to be doing that during wintertime because it makes for a hellish environment. So you have to have everything back in, and the electrical has to be hooked up as well. So that's about a day, maybe a 2-day job to put the electrical on those things. Because you have to make sure that the electrical cable, which is about 2 inches in diameter, maybe 2.5, it has to be put on some floats, and it also has to be hooked up and secured. So that takes quite a while. So and you can see the bottom of the video, the guys are getting ready and setting up some pads for this thing to rest on and get some dunnage ready. But that is got to be like the longest reach I've seen in person. And yeah, he just takes it and he'll lower it down right to those guys. They'll put those gray blocks underneath to hold it up so it doesn't rest on the bell end that's underneath there, because that'll crush, or it'll be, it might not crush it, but it won't be very good for it. We don't want to damage it. So yeah, there we go. Put the gray blocks underneath. Bring her down. Make sure you adjust it. And I'm a little shaky because it's such a high zoom rate, but see there. Let her down, and she should sit nice and square. And then off come the slings. Now that's a good well-oiled machine there. Those guys did a good job. And then they're ready for the next one. They'll come back, and the crane will come back, and they'll latch onto to the next one and pull it out. This was the big one we wanted to watch, was lifting the dredge out of the water. So yeah, it's going to be pretty heavy from that distance away. So this dredge is 40,000 pounds. Here it comes. Lifting it up. It's not perfectly balanced, but that'll do. I think they did okay when they were rigging it up. So what he should do right now is he should boom up to try to get the load radius closer to him so it's not so tippy. Or if it gets to that point, you want to always try to keep your load as close to you as possible. You have a specific safe zone to stay in with a load radius, so I can't remember if they had run into trouble here, whether we had to stop and disconnect a pipe or something. But yeah, they're taking it up. And he's got to be slow going. You're dealing with a lot of weight and a lot of distance. So every little movement should be very slow and calculated. No jerking motions or anything. It'll create undue stress on that boom of the crane. And I didn't want this to turn into one of those accident videos you see on other channels. Yeah, I think we're kind of stalled there for reason. I don't know. I may have been called over to disconnect something. So you always got he's got his line there, his tag line, just to keep it from running all over the place. But yeah, it looks like there's something on the bottom there. Might still be connected, and we should have to disconnect. I'll click to the next one and see. Okay, this is a little shorter. There should be more shows like this so people can see what it takes to make civilized life possible. Yeah, well, having worked in, I don't work in the waste management industry anymore, but having worked in it for the last 15 years, I learned a lot about what it takes to like run your city and have your infrastructure and where everything goes. You know, people that don't work in it, they just throw their stuff in the garbage and like, yep, it's gone. Or they recycle their stuff, they put it in the recycle bin or recycle bag and they're like, yep, it's gone. It's good. But I see what I and other people that work with me have seen what it takes when it comes to the recycling center, when it comes to the garbage center, or when, you know, it comes from the waste treatment center where they treat all the human waste. You know, when you go to the bathroom, you flush the toilet, good. As long as everything goes down, you're good. You don't know where it goes after. You don't care where it goes. It doesn't cross your mind. But I know where it goes. I've seen it. I've dealt with it. Let's see. Yeah, out of sight, out of mind. Exactly. You got it. Okay, so I think we got taken care of what needed to be. Yeah, it looks like this is a little longer video. Are they? He might want to go up a little higher though to get. He's got to get over that light post there and such. But yeah, this took the better part of a day to get this out of the water, and there we go. He's moving. There you go. Now he's like, okay, good. Moved it a bit. It was caught on something and should be able to move it up and out of the way. But yeah, this did take us the better part of a day. The setup for the crane was probably what took the longest. And there you go. He's lifting her up. He's going to get past that light standard there on the left-hand side. Him there. And then he's got a, boom. I think he's booming up. And that'll bring it closer to his center line and center of gravity for the crane. Keep a nice tight load radius, and there you go. Back it goes. Once again, everyone's keeping out of the way, like myself. I know he's swinging the boom that way, so I'm keeping well back. You started working for a construction company about 2 months ago. Do a lot of media stuff for them. There's so much you have to know about simple stuff like the quality of dirt. Yes, you can't just build anywhere. You need to do ground samples, check drainage, make sure there's clay or no clay, or if you have to truck some in, you have to compact it. It's all a lot of stuff. There's just a lot of stuff to it that nobody really knows about. But yeah, here we go. They finally got it. And the fellow's waiting there with the pressure washer. He's got to pressure wash all that human waste off there. And then it'll be ready to send out. So yeah, that's it there. And I think that was one of the last videos of that one. Aside from getting it on the truck. Let's see here. Got some still pictures. Yeah, the crane's getting set up. The old dredge. There they are, getting the counterweights on. Yeah, taking that. Set down. Yeah. Put her on the flat deck. Be done with it. Okay, good. Gotta run, do your nightly exercise, have a good stream. You betcha, Ronan. You have a good one too. I'll see you around there. One final thing. There's this picture here. There's this picture here. So on the new dredge, it is controlled. It goes back and forth with a wire rope. So a wire rope goes around a shiv. This is a worn shiv. This wire rope and this shiv has slipped on each other so much that in wintertime, because it gets icy, so it starts wearing into it, making a deeper groove in it, which is not good. Eventually it would saw this thing in half. If you believe it or not, the action of this wire rope over this steel shiv will eventually saw it in half. So you have to put a new one on. And a new one looks like, what do we got here? When you put a new one on, it should look like, okay, well, even this has been worn off. The wire rope should actually be level with the top of the shiv here. So even this new one that was put on, had been worn because the operators would just run the dredge without even seeing. And hey there, Blaine. Nice to see you. I was just showing a bit of how a wire rope can wear through a metal shiv. And it ends up looking like, well, that's the newer one. It'll end up looking like this. Here, I'll show you. Like that. So that has worn down significantly, especially when you consider that the wire rope would normally sit at the very top of this shiv. It would maybe have half of it poking up over top. So right at the center line of it. So that is a well-worn shiv. As you can see there, I got a picture there. Practically a chainsaw. Yeah, it's just friction. In the wintertime, it gets ice and snow on it, and the guys don't pay attention, and the dredge just keeps turning and spinning and spinning. The shiv spins when the rope doesn't go anywhere, and it just wears right through it. Tried to get a good shot there. Not that great. But I don't know if you saw, but this, Blaine, was the dredge we had to lift out of the settling pond. So this is where all the human waste goes to settle. And then it gets pumped over and used, put in a centrifuge. But we had to get rid of this old. We've got our new dredge over here, brand new. And then we've got the old dredge right here, which is out of date and almost like somebody built it in their garage. It was very slapdashed, just slapped together, not very well done. Well, hey there, King to the Nations. Welcome. Must be Joseph. Just showing the guys a little bit of a project I was on to remove a dredge from a settling pond. So yeah, this, and we had to remove some of these aerators too. So these big things, you got a big motor on a float and a propeller on the end, and all it does is kicks up water just to keep the place from freezing. That's all that does. So you pull them out in the summertime, rebuild them, put them back in the wintertime, or put them back down before the wintertime. But I don't know, sometimes those guys would wait until almost the last minute. And there's the crane they needed. It was a 400-ton crane. Coldest I experienced this year so far was -40. That was only for like maybe 2 days or so. Average winter is like maybe -25 or so, blah, blah, you know. Right now it's nice because it's like only -9, -10. It's all in degrees Celsius. But yes, you got to reach from the road all the way over here, across the berm, and then latch on to the old dredge and lift it up. So the dredge weighs 40,000 pounds. The crane is 400 tons. It needs to be that heavy just to reach that far. -40 Fahrenheit would be insane. And you know what? When it hurts to breathe when you go outside, that's when you know it's cold. Yeah, I really get bundled some of those days. Boy, does your car just cries when you go to start it in weather like that. And then you've never seen it before, but when you try to sit on your seat in your car and it has no give, it's hilarious. You get in, you're like, why am I sitting 2 inches higher than usual? Oh, the seat's frozen. It's insane. You and the dog both cough every time you take her out to acclimate to the cold. Yes, you betcha. Yeah, so there it is, reaching from the road all the way up. These guys are rigging it up. They got to make it so it's lifts up square. You don't want anything to be off kilter. But I do have some. And then after it's done, when they pulled it out and they have to clean it, and then they set it on a flat deck. So there you go. You have to, once it's cleaned, it goes on a flat deck and gets taken away for scrap. Even down here, we used to have a block heater we plugged into the house for our old Volkswagen. Yeah, diesel especially hates the cold. That's why up in the colder climates, even up north, they don't even shut diesels off. They just let them run. They just make sure they're filled up with diesel and just let them run all night. How far am I from the International Peace Garden? Is that the one on the border with British Columbia and Washington State? Is that what that is? You got to get the winter diesel blend. Yeah, you add diesel conditioner to it to keep it from gelling up. From the International Peace Garden. It's on the Montana or North Dakota border. Oh, okay. Nah, I'm in I'm far away from that. I'm like 600 kilometers from the border. 600 or 700 kilometers from the border between Alberta and Idaho? Slash Montana. Yeah, Montana. Yeah. The one in Blaine? I'm surprised you don't live in Blaine. That would just be too meta, right? West Coast Canada? Not quite west. No, not West Coast. I'm in the Prairie Province. Good old Alberta. Canada's Texas. Everywhere you live is Blaine. That's so true. Okay, so oh yeah, okay, so here you guys go. This is wintertime. This is the settling pond. And the dredge is frozen in. It's got all this ice around it. And these are the aerators that I was telling you about. You put them on a long rope to keep them in place. That one's going like crazy, trying to do its best, and it's doing okay. You can see that they've got quite the large area of water. There's no ice there. Over here, this aerator is flipped over. So one of the things that would occur because of a buildup of ice, it would come. The ice would build up on one side, and it would just flip this thing right over. And now you've got the motor sticking down in the water, and the bell end sticking up top, and pretty much your aerator is useless now. So once that happened, you just shut the power off to it, call her a day, wait till spring thaw. The next thing you would do is try to move these guys closer to the dredge to get it out of the ice. Yeah, it is cool. It's just the momentum of the water. Just keep the water moving and it won't freeze up. But yes, that happened there. And you always just shake your head. There's not much you can do about it. But I do have some movies of the lifting up of the dredge out of the water. Use a bubble for the deck pond. There you go. Okay, see you around, Blaine. But yeah, lift that guy out of the water. Very slow to get it up and out of the water. You got to be careful. And crane operators do get paid nicely. I believe it's only a 3-year apprenticeship for a crane operator. But yes, they do get paid lots, but they're also going to work out of town a lot as well. But good work if you can get it. A lot of times you're waiting around. So you got to try to keep your mind occupied, but then get ready to, at a moment's notice, to be ready to do the operating of the crane. I was able to operate a small crane, 8.5 ton, which you didn't need a journeyman certificate for. Anything over 8.5 tons, you do. But the regulations here are, if you just need to go get some training and prove competency, and then you can operate an 8.5 ton crane. It's not that big, it's just a small all-terrain crane. But it's something that is invaluable when you're on the job. I can't remember how many times I said to myself, it's so great that we have this little crane to help us complete jobs, because it came in handy so many times. The apprenticeship makes it easy to begin a solid career. Sure it does. Absolutely. Yeah. They got to introduce it early in school, though. That's how you feel about your mini excavator? Those things are so handy. Yeah, so we're lifting that guy out of there. And I can't remember, something might have got hung up or something, or we needed to disconnect something. Because in the next video, we got her up. Oh, but this one's not very long video, so maybe that's when I got called over. So yeah, here's a view of that guy. Follow the boom, and there we go. I think his thing got hung up on something. And he'll just go over and he'll give it a little bit of a shove. And he's got his tagline attached to it, just to make sure he can keep some semblance of control over this thing. But it was a good day. It wasn't that windy, because if it gets too windy, you got to call off the lift. Because the wind will catch something like that, and it'll just pull your crane over and topple it. And that's the end of that. A lot of these accidents you see will be because of they're either overloading the crane or doing it in unfavorable conditions. Just stuff like that. You got to take the time and look at the conditions and make sure that you're doing this thing. Because you can wipe out a lot of people, and you don't want that. We all want to go home at the end of the day, so. Yeah, there we go. So now he's going to lift it up, bring it over, set it down. They're going to clean it, because you can't have environmental, like the human waste being an environmental hazard. They got to wash it off, and then they can send it away. You shut down work sites when they wouldn't shut down the crane in 35 mile-an-hour winds with gusts up to 45 to 50. My, yeah, like, I get worried at 30 kilometer-an-hour winds, never mind 35 mile-an-hour. Yeah, no kidding, shut them down. No, it's just ridiculous. They want you to do, if they want you to do stuff in wind like that, you're just asking for it. Whether you're up in an aerial platform doing a job, or if you're doing a crane work like this, any kind of wind just magnifies everything. Yeah, 25 miles per hour was standard shutdown for cranes. There you go. Hey, it's not worth it. It's not worth losing, losing somebody's life or having a big accident. That is the beauty of stop work authority. Yeah, you guys are being too dangerous. We're going to just do a stop work right now, and we'll see how you like it. Well, yeah, so that's about it. I hope you guys enjoyed having a look-see at some of the neat things out there. Some of the things I've participated in. Like I say, the removal of the dredge was one of the bigger ones to take care of, one of the bigger jobs. You gotta coordinate a lot of people and make sure we're doing everything the right way. But everything went off without a hitch. We definitely had a good time when it was all over and done with. And don't forget, spread the word to people about the skilled trades. There is a shortage. There is a shortage of skilled tradespeople. We need more people to come into the trades. And we have to spread the word to the young ones there. They have to do a better job in junior high, high school, telling them, listen, this is a skill you can take with you for the rest of your life. You are going to be well compensated, and it will help you with your critical thinking, problem solving, and so forth and so forth. And even being an entrepreneur where you can run your own business is what it comes down to as well. So I say, look over the list of trades. There's a lot of them. They broke them down here. These are, I just typed in like skilled trades in America. And it's like carpenter, electrician, plumber, pipe fitter, mason, painter, heater and air conditioning technician. That's important one. Heating, air conditioning. You're busy all year round. Winter for heating, summer air conditioning. You're gonna always be busy. Transportation, automotive service technician, bus operator, train operator, heavy equipment technician, aircraft maintenance technician. You can really get into it, like as far as really specializing in what you want to do. The service skilled trades, nursing assistant, licensed practical nurse, chef, baker, food service manager, hairdresser, landscape architects. And then manufacturing, welder, machinist, metal fabricator, tool and die maker. Tool and die maker, that is very important to do. You're making tools and dies and such, but I found a lot of them, you start squinting after a while because you're doing such precise measurements that you get your eye strain. It starts affecting your vision. But make sure that people want to inquire about which ones to do. You can point them in this direction. You can tell them to come and listen to my stream. I will try to explain the best of my ability what it takes to get into the trades and what to expect. And as long as we get the word out, hopefully we will be able to fill that gap that's being left by the tradesmen that are retiring. We gotta get people in there. It's suffered from a stigma for much too long, where people have looked down on the trades and said, "Oh, who wants to do that? Oh, who wants to do that?" But they're one of the most important jobs around. You know, who do you call when your toilet's backed up? Plumber. What happens when you need, you get into an accident? Oh, auto body technician. What about when your car won't start? Auto mechanic. All those things. Oh, I need these two pieces of metal connected together. Welder. Oh, I need this block turned into a sphere. Machinist. So, they're so important out there. It's not, university and college aren't the end all be all. Trade school is a viable opportunity for everyone. And it doesn't matter how old you are. I know guys that were 50 years old and they were apprentices. So don't let age stop you. It doesn't matter. Shouldn't be any stigma, plus your ROI will more than likely be significantly higher than a college degree, at least a 4-year degree. Yeah, for sure. Depending on the company you get with and such like that, if they're union, non-union, you can have an excellent return on investment. You won't have any student debt. You won't have any student debt. And even if you do, you'll be able to pay it off like that. No problem. Yeah, maybe short-term pain for long-term gain, though. You're going to be an apprentice. Yeah, maybe you won't have the best jobs. Your journeymen are going to give you some of the more not very glamorous jobs, but you do them, you stick it out, you're better coming out of the other end. When you've got your journeyman ticket, and now you're the journeyman, and now you have to make all the decisions and plan the jobs and everything like that. That's eventually what you want to end up being. So, I would just like to take this opportunity to thank everyone. I hope you enjoyed your time here. I am going to just say who showed up today. Ah, yes. I'd like to thank Godzillionaire. I'd like to thank David from the Underground. I'd like to thank Joseph from the Underground. And Ronan66. Really appreciate you coming by. And Blaine. It's always good to see you. Yeah, so, hey, please remember, hit that like button. I'd like to try to get the old likes up here. Like and subscribe if you haven't. I always appreciate that. New subscriptions, seeing new people in the chat. It's always a fun time. try to spread the word, let everybody know, hey, there's this tradesman on YouTube and he talks about the trades and he really wants people to join the trades. So you should come listen to him and see if you can't engage him in some conversation and maybe get some questions answered if you're curious about them. Or if you're in the trades, I want to hear about your experiences. I want to hear about your projects you've been on. Because that's always fun too. Because I haven't done everything. I've done a few things, but I haven't done everything. And I like to hear about those other projects out there. There's also other channels out there with content creators that you can visit. People like Pacific 414 or Blaine's Escape Corner. There's Ronin66 and DJ Ronnie G. There's Brandon the Anime Guy. There's the Nerdporial Lifeform. Punkwaddle from Floral from Under a Rock. And there's also the Underground out there. I know those guys have a channel. And they put out some good content too. And hey, Angry Canadian, I'm doing all right. I hope you are too. Must be like morning where you are, isn't it? I've got a Discord as well. It's called The Shop. And that's where we gather and we can talk things, not just trades related, but, oh, it's noon where you are at. Okay. You're out skiing. Beauty! That's all right. But yes, Discord. My link is in the description, but if that doesn't work, I will fire out a new one there for anybody that wants to join. I'm out there on Twitter, just like a lot of other people are. The madness that is Twitter. I've got some videos on Bitchute, Odysee, and Rumble. And the reason I have them there is because they aren't as heavy-handed as the old YouTube is, with slapping your hand with fair use. So yeah, if you want to see some of my videos that haven't been altered, just check that out. And Angry Canadian, I want to thank you for stopping by. I'm just kind of wrapping everything up now, so hoping you could, maybe next time catch me at the beginning of Trades Talk Tuesday. All right, have a good one, everyone. It was nice seeing you all here. I'm glad to share everything with you. Please slap that like button, hit the subscribe button on your way out. And I will DM you the Discord, Angry Canadian. You bet I will. And with that, I am Pop Culture Mechanic. And I am signing off.